Welcome to the Bookers Alliance podcast, where we hold the pencil and the pencil is power. Coming at you right now is your host, Marky Mark, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Donaldson. Join us as we discuss the ever-changing landscape of professional wrestling. So hang on tight, you jabronis, and enjoy the ride. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining the Bookers Alliance podcast. Come on in the house, bring yourself up a ringside seat, get your popcorn, get your sodas, get your whiskey. Get it all while you can. Because, man, we got to talk about what's up.
Were you trying to sing like Chris Stapleton right then? Like, were you trying to hit the vocal like that? Or?
Yo, as smooth.
Because I mean, you know, we got a sponsor this week. So I mean, I didn't know if you were shilling already or. Like, damn, we didn't even introduce me yet. He had already went into the sponsor. Jeez.
We got all kinds of things going on. Frank, how we doing, man?
Oh, I can't call it. I mean, the world of wrestling is up in arms again. I mean, you know, you got a little bit happening here, a little bit happening over there. We got celebrity couple breakups. We got tag team breakups. We got tag team formation. Everything's happening in wrestling now. I mean, it's too much to talk about.
Yeah, that's why this episode is called What's Up?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
But before we get to our topic, we got to throw a shout out to our sponsor, Traveler Whiskey, endorsed by Chris Stapleton. Got a good old Buffalo Trace blended bourbon and might tasty stuff there.
Yeah, not bad at all. Just needed it to wet my whistle right there. Is he the Tennessee whiskey guy?
Tennessee whiskey.
Oh, it's smooth. Like Tennessee whiskey. Oh,
but
country ain't my thing.
But
my bad.
Before we give a toast.
That was pretty good, though.
That was pretty good. I'll give you that. Before we do a toast, we got to pull one out. Samantha Irvin. You have came into our world and blessed us with your ring announcing skills, along with your mighty fine good looks.
She got that Riz.
She got that
Riz. That's R-I-Z-Z for y'all old heads. She got that Riz.
And the Giat.
Oh, yeah. She had a lot of that, though. Remember when she was posting them pictures that I was like, she ain't going to be in WWE much longer because she was posting them pictures out there every day. Seemed to be we was on to something.
But Samantha Irvin, you will be missed. Carry on. Go enjoy your musical career, and we wish you the best.
Congratulations to Ricochet on that same part of the all right with me.
Cheers. Traveler Whiskey. But yeah, to kind of lead into the topic of what's up, we'll go ahead and start that off with Samantha Irvin. She is no longer with the WWE. Her ring announcing will be missed. She had probably came in and was one of the fastest likable personalities that we saw on weekly TV.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that she brought emotion to it, right? Like, yeah, we had the Fink, and the Fink he would get emotional. You could see that he loved the business. You could see he loved professional wrestling. You had Lillian Garcia. I mean, you could see that she was a singer. You could see that she was professional. She had strength in her voice. She was strong. But I think Samantha brought that emotion, and she brought true fandom to the business. I mean, she was a fan just like we were. When something happened in the story, she was emotionally taken back, just like we get. And I think that was what made her so likable, is that she was truly authentic.
Right. And, we already know who the replacement is going to be. It looks like the only Lillian Garcia.
That's all right with me. So, when one door closes, another one opens.
But
that girl got some legs on her.
She is back on TV. Just a funny story real quick. One of the first...
Wait, you got a story about her and these legs? I mean, wow.
So one of the first...
Don't get yourself in trouble now. Slow down.
One of the first live events that I remember going to where she was the ring announcer. Mm-hmm. She was very popular back in the day.
This story about to go bad, y'all.
And the guy down in front of where we were sitting screams out to the top of his lungs, "Lillian, I want to have your love child."
It was the guy in front of y'all, right? Oh,
it
okay.
was.
Got it. Cool.
It
guy
was.
in front. Mm-hmm. I bet it was.
But, as far as Lillian, she brings that same type of impact to the ring announcing. how's it going to work with the current roster? I'm sure she'll find her way.
Yeah, she was a little rusty on that Monday night. That very first one where they put the focus on it, it was a little too much pressure for the very first time. You made a big deal about it.
Yeah, apparently
and then she stumbled in it.
She saw Dom before we saw Dom, apparently.
She was there when Dom was born. So, I mean, she saw Dom before most people saw Dom.
This is true.
She's seen that boy grow up and mature.
This is true. But good times to be had. Gonna miss Samantha. Hope she does great in her musical career. Would not be surprised, even though, the word on the street is no, it's not happening, but would not be surprised to see her on AEW television, somewhere down the road.
I mean, and the tribalists out there who she betrayed WWE. AEW checks clear every other week.
She's
just
working. Let her work.
AEW checks cash just like WWE checks, right? Like, has anybody came out of AEW and said they check didn't cash?
No.
So, I mean, a job is a job, right? So if she moves over to another wrestling company to be closer to her man and she can still get paid, well, best wishes.
More power to her. Absolutely.
Best wishes on her future endeavors. How about that?
Speaking of relationships.
Here we go. I've been waiting for this time.
There's another relationship.
We got to pour another drink over in here.
There's another relationship
Cavassier out here today.
Has fallen by the wayside, apparently. We have gotten confirmation that Adam Cole and Britt Baker are no more.
That girl back on the block, y'all. Oh, my goodness.
Well, we knew when we saw the picture with Swerve. We knew what that was.
Them DMs is dripping right now. I mean, they are drenched. Oh my goodness! Remember that hurricane that came through a little while ago? That was that girl's DMs right now, boy. Them jokers is destroyed.
But again, we poke fun in jest. But, we wish them both the best in whatever they may find in life. But it's kind of funny that, in that backstage AEW thing that they had going on, a lot of that was centered around Britt and Adam.
Yeah.
And then,
even that first Owen Hart tournament was
correct. They were the inaugural winners.
Yeah. As a couple, they would bring them out there together and they showed their belts together. A lot of that was in there. But I mean, quiet as it's kept. Now, we don't start no rumors here on Booker's Alliance podcast. We just report on what we have heard from certified sources, right?
Correct.
Credible sources. So credible sources to say TK might have had something to do with that breakup in there because, I mean, Britt was getting pushed to the top really fast, and I think somebody may have had like a boyhood crush, kind of like Shawn Michaels had the boyhood dream.
I thought that was Tony Schiavone.
No, he's just blatant his. I mean, his ain't even his wife slap him every day when he come home after them segments. She just look him in the face, slap him right across the face, and keep it moving because she know Tony ain't got no chance. But now I'm talking about the big boss over there making Vince McMahon moves over in the AEW. I'm just saying now, it may not be true, but if it ain't true, he better keep it quiet over there because you seen what happened to Vince.
Yeah, and speaking of that, another lawsuit got levied against Vince today.
Lord. That man literally and figuratively got future endeavored. I mean, because Endeavor bought him out. He got all the future endeavors.
Yeah, so that got brought up, and this lawsuit is levied against Vince, Linda, and TKO. And the thought behind it is TKO is going to go ahead and pay this one out.
TKO? They ain't been there long enough to have no lawsuits. What is that lawsuit about?
Basically, it's stemming. It's the Ring Boys and that
Ring Boys.
That whole scandal.
Oh Lord, Pat
got brought up. Pat, yeah.
Pat done came back to haunt us from the other side. Pat got out of Dodge though before this whole scandal came back out. Pat was like, Pat was like, that heat getting hot. I'm out.
He might have went somewhere hot.
I mean, that's why I said he know what he was getting himself into. But he say I ain't gonna go through it twice. Hell, Pat say if I got one eternal one, I deal with that. But the damn sure ain't going through it here. I'm out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with this though. But if I had to bet, TKO will go ahead and pay this one on out, settle it, and be done with it. That way, it doesn't hit the news and anything else. But
are them boys trying to get paid?
That's
they
what
want a
it
little
seems.
money. Oh well, hell yeah, get them boys a little money. Now again, we ain't controversial on here, but let's be honest. Them boys done got touched on, right? So I mean, they need to get paid. Let's go ahead and break them jokers off because what happened to them was wrong. They need to get paid. Let's just call it at that and keep it moving.
Correct. But speaking of keeping moving,
let's keep it moving.
What's up? So Bloodline.
Lord.
This story is evolving more than any of us had thought it was going to. But then again, there's so much more that we're looking at. Of course, Booker's Alliance is what we do, fantasy booking.
Yeah.
There's so many ways the story can play out. I know we were discussing what if Jacob turns on Solo.
Well, it looked like another branch done grew onto that family tree right now, because all of a sudden the Jacob Fatu branch, son of Samu of the old, not Samu, I'm sorry, Tama of the old Islanders, his son, he done started to emerge, and he might have a hell of a claim to being the tribal chief one day. So
I don't know if you heard it in real time, but that was probably one of the most organic pops that I've ever heard come across TV.
Oh yeah, well, you mean when he had that face off with Braun Breaker? Oh,
right.
So tell me right now, WrestleMania 50, right? That's kind of like the WrestleMania 50. You know, WWE was sending it out there as a teaser, and they were like, "Hold on."
Hoping they don't wait to 50.
I mean, well, that's how long it's gonna take for Roman and Cody to get out. They gonna run at least another 10.
That story go rough,
right?
forever.
So that means Braun Breaker and Jacob gotta wait. They just gotta wait their turn. But yeah, WrestleMania 50, those two are gonna be on top.
But I sit there and I was paying attention to everything that was going on, and I watched, Jacob step over the ring or the little barrier there. I saw him step over, and then you see Braun turn around and kind of look at him and see him coming, and they started walking up towards each other, and the crowd, it was just like a wave, like a swell of it. It just kept
they got
building.
that sniff.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, when they're there standing face to face, the crowd was at a fever pitch.
But WWE does that a lot. They'll put a little teaser out there, just see what the reaction, see if we got something here.
Yep.
I guarantee when they were in the back, Bruce and Triple H, I know them guys probably looked at each other like, oh my God.
Triple H wrote down on his notepad, that's money.
Yeah, I was going to say that probably got written in more for WrestleMania 42 than 50. They were probably like, we'll jump this up about 10 years.
That's money right there.
We could cash in on that today, and we could cash in on that again in 10 years.
But Jacob Fatu, wherever he goes after this bloodline saga, finishes out, my God, I mean, the sky's the limit for this dude. Now, I don't want to knock Solo because we disagree on how I see this kind of play.
So it's not Solo's fault, right?
No,
what's happening in this fault? This is organic.
It's organic.
I mean, he's just a product of it at this point. It's just happening to him, not because of him.
And if they don't find a way to get the correct amount of members in Roman's corner for War Games, and again, this is all speculation. We don't know where this is going.
No, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, but I mean, I could see an instance where even though it may not be a fan favorite, Solo may flip back and go back to the OG bloodline.
Oh, I don't like that. At this point now, Solo's excommunicated. If he turns on the new bloodline and he done did to the old bloodline, he got to be out the bloodline.
That's the thing. What I'm starting to notice about the bloodline, it's like the old mobster area. I don't know what you have to do in that family to get excommunicated.
Well, I mean, Roman got excommunicated because he lost the title. So,
but
Solo keep losing. So, I mean, he excommunicated himself.
Jimmy never gave up on him.
They gave up on Jimmy. They put him out. Remember?
Right,
they sent him packing.
Jimmy never gave up on Roman.
Oh no! Well, that's why they're in there. That's why they're in that bloodline faction. Because what did he tell him this week? He said, "Why did you go get them?" Jay told him why we stayed away from them for a reason.
Now there's something there that they're dragging us along.
There's a whole lot of other story behind that.
Why did you go get him? We stayed away from Jacob.
Yeah, for a reason. He said, them and the Tongans. He told we stayed away from them for a reason. Why did you go get them?
What is the reason? So
there's a lot of story to be told there. And then of course Jay losing the title just set him up perfectly.
Oh yeah, he's going back into the fold.
We had already claimed a long time ago he was getting into this storyline.
Yep.
Well, that's your elevator into it right there. That Joker dropped right off on the 5th floor and dumped him off right into this storyline. Come on with it.
Solo out there got memes already showing up in the front row. I got tickets.
Yeah, he got paper tickets, right? Like I ain't had a paper ticket. I ain't had especially those kind of. When I did have paper tickets, they were computer printed. I mean, ain't had a paper ticket in a while.
I got tickets.
In Samoa, do they still they don't have printers? They don't have
snail mail.
They don't have no phones or nothing like right. It's like he picked those up at will call. Like I feel like Roman would have had to leave
6 months ago.
Yeah, because only Roman would have those, right? Only Roman got will call privilege.
Yep. So I've also noticed Roman has cranked up his social media a little bit more. He's blowing up TikTok. He's showing people workout routine. He's answering people's questions. I mean, Roman is really trying to get back into the babyface role.
Yeah. Plus, Roman got some gym shoes to start selling soon. I'm telling you, sneakers, as y'all might call them.
I'm telling you right now, Booker's Alliance fans. I'm telling you right now. Listen to me close. Listen to me. Roman is not a babyface. He is not a baby.
Nah, he's just Roman, but he's got to lean into the baby face a little bit.
He's leaning to that side, but that boy is true heel. Let me tell you, Solo called it out on the carpet, called him out on it. Said, "There you are."
I don't think he's full heel either, though. I think he's in that comfortable tweener role where they're gonna play him as needed. When they need a face, when they need him to be the good guy and I'm fighting against all odds and all that, he'll play into that. But then when he plays into I'm the dominant badass that'll come and run through this federation, he'll play that. But I think as long as they keep him in that comfortable stone cold middle ground, I think they got magic on their hands.
Even as the tribal chief, even as the heel, how many fans did he have?
Oh, he had a lot. I mean, you saw a lot of ones up when he was the tribal chief.
There ain't no harm in heel or babyface with him.
No.
He is transcendent. He is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, I was about to say, he just got to stay in that comfortable middle ground where he can sell
heel
merch.
Or babyface.
Yeah, they want him to sell merch, but they want him to talk a little trash. Now, they want him to do a little bit of both. And as long as they making money, it's going to work. So they going to work it out.
So how does The Rock figure into all of this? We've yet to figure this out.
Or as Kofi would say, who?
We have yet to figure out how The Rock is playing in all of this. I mean, outside of the 1, 2, 3 throat slash, I mean, how is he figuring into all of this? We've not found out yet.
Well, I thought that 1, 2, 3 throat slash was him just counting himself out and then saying, I'm out of the story, and cut his own throat and left. Yeah, because we haven't seen hide nor hair of him since that night.
You think he'd throw up a peace sign, if that was going to happen.
Maybe, but, maybe he was saying 3 because, that's how you go down in wrestling. You leave 3 and then you leave your boots in the ring. Maybe Rock walked off into the sunset with his People's Championship and we'll never see him again. Maybe that's where it's going.
So, I mean, if you get no Rock at War Games, which you've adamantly stood by that, you're like, no, we're not getting Rock.
Oh, he definitely wrestling.
You're not getting Rock until WrestleMania.
They already got 4 on the solo side.
We're figuring the next time we see Rock, it's not going to be Crown Jewel because he ain't traveling to Saudi Arabia.
That's too far.
So the next time you see Rock would probably be at the end of War Games.
Yeah.
In an angle.
Yeah.
To wrap up the show as it goes off the air, just like he did Bad Blood.
Yep. I can see that.
So, but do you see, if it is Roman versus Solo in War Games, so Roman's crew,
team Roman and team,
right? Roman's crew versus Solo's crew, right?
Yeah.
Does Rock wait till the bell rings and then makes an appearance, or does Rock kind of call Solo and his team to win?
I don't know. I mean, remember last year in War Games, remember Randy Orton soldered down there real late in the War Games match, and, he did his couple spots and left. I wouldn't be surprised. And then CM Punk actually came out after the credits went off. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do a similar thing to what Randy did last year, where, maybe towards at the wind-up of the match, you don't see, Rock saunter down there and just make his presence known, and then all of a sudden, he maybe wills his team to win whichever side he's siding with. He just kind of wills them to win and gets in there and raises their hand and all. Because we know from when The Rock raises your hand and you're a winner, your ass is going to get booed out of the building. Ask the Philly crowd and ask Roman from back in like 2014. If Rock holds your hands up and he endorses you, you're getting booed out the building. So, yeah, I mean, I could see Rock coming out there and kind of endorsing his team, the winners, and that get them booed, and that gets them nuclear heat. And then they carry that on into the road to WrestleMania. Lord, I'm ready for the road.
So you also have 3 stories that are starting to evolve around Cody Rhodes and what his involvement is in all of this. You've got the story of Cody and Roman. Yep. That story's still out there.
That's always simmering
simmering. It's on the back burner, but sometimes
it's quiet, but it's on a slow burn, but it's simmering.
Then you've got the story of Cody and KO and Randy.
Now they microwaving that. They threw that joke. They came completely out of nowhere like an RKO, and they threw that joke in the microwave 30 seconds. They heated it up quick.
And then you got the story of Cody and Gunther for this Crown Jewel Championship.
So that's kind of like a side dish, right? Like that's not your main program. That's like a one-off, but damn, what kind of a one-off?
So I feel like Cody's slow playing Roman with the hand of blackjack, but he's got the side bets over to the side.
There you go. See, you got it right. You got to gamble it. You got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. Okay.
But I feel like Cody's in a world of mess. I don't know how any of this is going to shake out with KO. It's so unpredictable And I love how WWE is playing this because they're allowing it to be unpredictable. Even for us old head fans, we don't know where this is going.
I mean, I feel like they're taking cues from the crowd to base it on, like, whatever the crowd gives them, they're like, oh, y'all like that? Lean into that. Yep. Oh, y'all didn't like that? Lean out of that. I mean, they just playing the hands that they dealt. And we're going to keep this card analogy going. I like this gambling analogy. We're going to keep it going here.
And they're
playing the hand that they dealt.
And I kind of see these two stories are going to coincide eventually, the Cody KO Randy and the Cody Gunther, because I think Cody is going to get screwed out of this Crown Jewel Championship belt by KO interfering, and Gunther's going to get the win.
So you're saying they're going to shuffle all the cards up together, and then they all going to intermix with one another. Man,
yep, I think that's
analogy is great. Yeah, I didn't know we would get such legs out of this.
Or you got a wild card that may drop.
Oh my God!
Look at that wild card is an old card. An old bald-headed man that's hollering, "Who's next?"
I mean, so at this point, they almost got to do something with him.
They got to pay off that spot.
I mean, why else tease it if you have zero payoff for it? That's not something WWE's known for. To put the tease out there and never pay it off. You might put it out there to hint to it, but they eventually pay off.
I just don't want to see the babyface end up with the Crown Jewel title off of an interference. That don't, as Hogan would say, that don't work for me, bro.
That's kind of a funky angle. I mean,
if the heel winds up with the title off of an interference, I'll buy that.
So yeah, like let's say Goldberg does run in to interfere. Let's say he goes to spear Gunther and accidentally hits Cody, right? Something like that. You can play into that angle because
KO comes down to beat up Cody, and that allows Gunther to get the pin.
Yeah, because let's be honest. I mean, that new belt, that was kind of created for Gunther, right? I mean, that damn thing, it already looks like it was built for him. I'm pretty sure they done fitted him up in the back. Not when security let it out of their sight, because as you see, they handle that thing like the crown jewel of the royal family.
So I gotta ask a question, because I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen any one person pick up that belt yet?
No, not the new championship. I don't think I've seen it picked up at all.
How the hell we know that it can be?
It's got to be picked up somehow. Somebody's going to pick it up and hold it up above their head, because that's the money shot at Crown Jewel. Somebody's got to hold that damn thing up there.
And I don't see it being Cody. I just don't see it.
No, they've already showered him with so much. I mean, at this point, what's the benefit to put the title on him? It's not Gunther. Like you can get him over any more than where he's at, but you can always elevate Gunther, and you can always elevate that World Heavyweight Championship by letting Gunther go over and saying, okay, these titles are equal now, because Gunther is the kind of guy to give that title credibility. Not that Seth couldn't, but I mean, it got to where it was what it was with Seth. Even going into WrestleMania, that was a third afterthought. I mean, that wasn't even the secondary at that point. Everything overshadowed Seth and that title at WrestleMania. So when they were trying to help elevate it, they actually devalued the damn thing by a ton.
Right.
So now putting it on a credible guy like Gunther, letting Gunther have a good long run with it, and then packaging it in with this Crown Jewel Championship, just ways to revalidate the title, revalidate Gunther. It's all good all around. But if Cody walks away with it, now you just blow all that up. I mean, at that point, you might as well retire the World Heavyweight title and go back to the big gold, because, I mean, hell, you're killing the belt if you do that.
So you brought up Seth. Let's talk about Seth and Bronson Reed for a minute. When Seth came down and attacked Bronson Reed while he was in the Monster of Monsters match.
The stomp on the steps.
The stomp on the steps. When he came down and attacked, I immediately thought, okay, cool. But then my mind was like, where are they going to take this?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you got, Bronson Reed, big old, he's being compared to Godzilla. He's a kaiju.
Yeah.
He's a big dude, right? And then you got Seth coming out there. Now, Seth ain't no small character, but he also ain't, he's not.
Yeah, he ain't 6 foot, 330 pounds.
He's not a monster, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But now, as we like our wrestling, sometimes a mismatch of styles brings out the best match.
Yeah.
Think of Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles.
What about Shawn Michaels and Vader?
Exactly.
What about Shawn Michaels and hell? All the giants of wrestling. So, I mean, Seth is on that Shawn Michaels caliber of wrestling now, so he can make it work. We know he can make it work. It's just, how good can he make it look?
So as we saw the physicality that went down on Monday Night Raw between him and Bronson Reed, my mind started to go into a place of, ooh, please don't make this a technical one-on-one match.
No,
Please.
that's not going to be a Bronson Reed match.
And
big
Bronson
Reed.
Reed.
Sorry, I misspoke.
And and thankfully they've allowed that this is going to be a kind of a it's
going to be a brawl.
It's a hardcore match.
Yeah, it's going to be a brawl. It's going to be what we thought it was. It's going to be a brawl.
And I'm happy to see that. I think that's the right thing to do. And honestly, kind of hoping Seth doesn't come out on top, even though chances are he will.
Yeah, I was going to say, considering the last time we saw him at WrestleMania, he was looking at the lights. I don't think he's going to take a hiatus and then come back and look at him again. But what do they always say on Busted Open? It's not who goes over, it's who gets over. If Bronson can get himself over, win, lose, or draw, it's all good for me, because that guy needs to be something going forward. They need to keep that train on him for a while.
Now, they do have a way out of this that also gets Bronson Reed over, just like they got him over in one night with 7 tsunamis.
Yeah.
So if he pulls out a spot like that and Seth can't continue the match, and therefore Bronson Reed wins by default, obviously we get to have match 2. So you can kind of see this coming if they build it the right way. And if we follow the logic of Triple H booking, most feuds have had 3 matches.
Yeah, they don't really have a 1-match feud. They're at least going to get into it and eventually work their way to a blow off.
Yep.
But for me personally, I'm with you. I'd prefer to see Bronson go over the first go round, just because, he's on his rise. Seth's established. Seth is what he is going to be. There ain't really no more up for him to go. His best bet now is to plateau so he doesn't start going downhill. But Bronson's at the tip of his peak. He's ready to break out. And that kind of W over the former world heavyweight champion, that gives him instant credibility and puts him in main event status.
Speaking of world heavyweight champion, I know I'm a fan, but I would also think this will be good for business. I would love to see Bronson Reed versus Gunther. And eventually, we want Gunther to have that long run, but eventually that belt needs to wander over to Bronson Reed's shoulder.
You want to talk about big men slapping meat? Yeah. Could you imagine the chop fest and the tsunamis dropped and all? Good Lord. And that's the thing about Gunther. With him being that arrogant, snobbish type heel that he's playing, he can disagree with everybody. It doesn't have to be heel versus face with Gunther. Gunther can offend everybody with his character. So you could be the heel of all heels and still find a way to get offended by Gunther enough that you want to fight.
That's the beauty of Gunther.
Oh, yeah.
The beauty of Gunther.
He's well-rounded, as they would say. Not to say Bronson Reed isn't well-rounded, because, duh.
The beauty of Gunther is that he's so simplistic that he fits anywhere.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Thank God Vince would have made him the third vaudevillian.
God.
Remember the vaudevillains?
Yes.
When those two guys, when they were doing the whole black and white thing? Vince totally would have made him the third one of those. You know that, right?
Yes.
He definitely would have been the third guy. And his career, poor Walter would just be dying inside of Gunther right now. His soul would be disintegrating little by little every week as Vince sent him out there in the whole vaudevillains gimmick.
All right, so we can't yell at WWE and AEW for doing better unless we do better. We got to talk about the ladies here. We got to talk about what's going on.
We talked about Britt Baker. That was really all I had.
We got to talk about what's going on.
I'm in them DMs as soon as we get off the air. My goodness.
We got to talk about what's going on with Liv and Rhea.
Oh, yeah, them
Nia
DMs
and
too.
Tiffany.
Boy, all them DMs too. Yeah, let me, Tiffany, Liv, Rhea, I'm in all them too. Good God.
So
I'll be busy tonight.
So how long until Tiff cashes in on somebody's championship? How much longer?
So my personal opinion is that's going to happen when it's time for Charlotte to come back, because I feel like that's the direction they're going to go with Tiffany. Is if they can get there, I see her and Charlotte having some kind of WrestleMania match. And of course, Charlotte goes over, because in what world doesn't Charlotte win a world title on every match that she has? So she would have to win, but they got to get it on Tiffany to get there. So I don't know.
How much longer until they pull the trigger on Jade and Nia? We know that that's coming. That was teased at the Rumble.
That was last year's Rumble when they did that.
How much longer?
We're almost all the way around the calendar on that. So they got Jade in this whole tag team thing, and honestly, I feel like her and Bianca are going to be intertwined at least through WrestleMania. I see at least another 6 months out of those two being tied into each other.
Also, Jade, Lash Legend's coming for you.
So no, they're gonna keep them two apart until maybe until WrestleMania 43 or so. They don't need to accidentally have no more tag teams where they interact because them two, they should be a tag team. I mean, they could make Jade and they could make Jade and Bianca.
That would be the ladies' version of Road Warriors.
Well, see, they could be the three vaudevillain because they could just stick her right over in the Bianca Jade tag. Because I mean, damn, does anybody else match up better than? Good Lord.
No, they don't.
I mean, she don't have the definition that they got. But look, did you see her strength this week when she had both Io Sky and Kairi Sane in her grasp, and she was just slinging them jokers around? Them ain't small women. Now they are small women, but I mean they ain't babies. You know what I mean? They carry 100 pounds each, and I mean she was wandering around with them like they were kids.
I am extremely in love with how stacked the WWE is right now with talent. There is talent on every show you watch, every corner you turn, every division, every championship chase, every story. There is so much talent. It is crazy to watch all of this stuff now. It's almost like you can't miss anything anymore.
That's what it is. It's must-see TV.
You can't miss NXT.
If you take a Raw off, and let's say you don't catch up on it before SmackDown and NXT come, I mean, you're behind at that point. You know, you're lost. You're lost in the sauce at that point. You know, the storylines are going and you have no clue what's happening. You have to work your way back to catch up now. I mean, thank God Raw went to 2 hours, right? Because I was sleeping through that last hour of Raw and I was so damn long. I mean, I was having to take time away from, my family, from my job. I had to take time away from to catch up on that hour because I would go into social media the next day and I mean, you'd have a whole nother story starting itself on social media and I had no clue where it originated from. You can't miss it all, but in the vein of what you said right there, right before you led into that, you said, we can't talk about WWE, we can't talk about AEW unless we're going to get better. We haven't talked about AEW getting better at all. I mean, the lead-in was kind of misleading there because we made it sound like we're talking about how much better AEW's getting, but I don't think we talked about that at all.
There is only 2 stories right now that have my interest in AEW, and I don't have enough faith in AEW to think that they're going to pay off either story.
That's depressing.
So the whole thing going on with Jon Moxley and his company takeover and everything else.
You mean NWO Light?
Yeah, NWO Light.
Okay.
So everything that's going on there, the big story under the surface is who is Moxley doing the bidding for? Mm-hmm. Who is he working for?
And you don't think AEW can pay off on that? There's a big fish out there that if they caught, it would put them back into relevancy. I mean, that would actually swim them up to the island of relevancy if they could pay off on that big fish. You think they're going to miss the boat on that?
Does a frog bump his ass when he jumps?
I mean, AEW has missed the boat a time or two in their past, so it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility for them to fudge this one up.
Look, don't come at me. I'm not a hater. Don't come at me. But I am a realist. And the thing is I have watched the past 3 years of AEW just bungling everything, and I don't think they're going to pay it off. I don't think they're going to do the right thing. Now, if they do, which I'm pulling for them to do, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I'm pulling for them to do the right thing.
Anybody who thinks we're haters, trust and believe. There's nothing more I want for AEW than for Shane McMahon to here comes the money, his ass out to the ring one day, and I mean you will hear our podcast. I promise
we will have an emergency podcast.
I guarantee everyone that's listening out here, as God is my witness, when that happens, the very next show will be dedicated to every minute of when that happens.
Yep.
When a McMahon appears on a non-McMahon owned wrestling entity, our entire podcast immediately after that will only surface on that. Promise you that. Hold me to that. The problem is if it ain't Shane McMahon, if it turns out to be damn Tony Khan or somebody like that, who I'm thinking it's going to end up being is what was Vince when he was the hidden power? Remember that whole thing?
Oh yeah, I can't remember now.
Well, you guys know when he pulled off the hood.
It was the Undertaker thing.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be Christopher Daniels and all that, and it turned out to be Vince. I feel like we both know Tony was watching right then, right? I mean, we know he saw that angle. I feel like that's where it's going to go, and it's going to turn out to be that the reason Moxley told Shivani that is because he was talking to the office, so to
Right.
speak. But the owner is going to be reminding them, I'm not with the Bucks. I'm not with Kenny. I'm my own man. I'm the owner, and I'm going to be the hidden power or whatever. It was some power. I can't remember, but that's what's going to end up happening. That's what I see happening, unfortunately. I don't see it being Shane McMahon. I think that's just a red herring.
Yeah, I want to have enough faith, and I want to believe that they're going to pull this off, along with the whole Swerve MVP Shelton Benjamin,
And
that whole story. That's the other thing that I'm.
who's the
watching.
third man?
Who's the third
So
man?
not only are we NWO and the BCC right now, but now we're going to NWO the Hurt Syndicate
Hurt
too.
Syndicate.
Well, geez, but who's going to be the third man? Can we guess? Is there anybody who wonders who's going to be the third man that MVP is Shelton debut here soon?
Bobby Lashley.
I mean, all the rumors done went out, and it's been confirmed every which way that he signed, so we know he's coming.
Right.
At this point, what's the point of holding him off? Now, keep in mind that all you out there listening, we're recording during Dynamite. Dynamite's on TV now, and we are not watching because we're recording.
Good
So
point,
Lashley could already be out there, right?
Good point.
So we don't want y'all to think that we watched it and then we were just a couple of assholes and acting like we didn't watch it. We're recording it. We started at like 7:45 on Wednesday, so we're not able to speak to what's happening on Dynamite right. So if Lashley comes out there, thank God, right? I mean, but if he doesn't, what's the surprise?
Right. So yeah, AEW, it's a wait and see type thing. I do feel bad for the fans that really want AEW to be a different product, and it's just not paying out. I almost said
Did. I mean, they got 2 good years.
I almost said I feel bad for the performers that are performing in front of empty seat arenas, but
Yeah,
like
they're
you
cashing
said,
heavy checks.
exactly like you said earlier, they cashing checks, so you can't feel too bad.
I'll go out there and wrestle a broom in front in front of the cleaning crew if I have to get that 6-7 figures a year that they're pulling in. I ain't got no problem with that. I don't, Now, granted, it's not going to grow my career any, but if you're making the right kind of paycheck, if you're making that Mercedes Moné money, you ain't worried about no fans, you ain't worried about no storylines, you ain't worried about nothing. You worried about hitting that bank account every other week.
I'm almost willing to put her into the category of biggest bust in wrestling history when it comes to character.
Oh, she's wandering around that Kwame Brown territory right now. She's up there. She's looking like Bryce Young right now. But I mean, not to take you guys off a topic, but I know that stabbed a lot of people in the heart right there. Bryce Young is looking
Sorry.
like a bust right now.
Sorry,
guys.
Panthers fans.
I'm just putting it out there. Bryce Young is looking like a bust right now. Hopefully something happens, like he gets traded, because that's his only
He's
hope.
playing this Sunday.
I mean, yeah, because Andy Dalton had a car crash, which I feel like that was a wrestling angle, because Bryce Young caused that, right?
Tepper hit him.
Exactly. Like, Bryce Young swerved in front of the car, and then Tepper plowed into the backup and then fled the scene. All that happened. This was totally a wrestling angle.
Tepper's a WWE fan.
Absolutely. This is wrestling. They had to find a way to write him off TV, so they wrote Andy Dalton off TV so they could get Bryce Young in for the hot tag and see what he does. But
I love it.
if he comes out there and he takes that pinfall 1, 2, 3, then that might be the end of Bryce Young. That might be loser leaves town.
If that man doesn't put up some type of a offense this Sunday,
Offense. No, they don't have that. That ain't looking good.
they are going to have to do something.
The only hope they got is the fact that they're going to be over in England, they're going to be overseas. They're actually in Germany, but England just had 2 1-5 teams playing each other, so now they got another one win team coming up. So they don't expect much. That's the only thing saving them.
All right. So out of all of the what's up stories that we've told so far, what's your favorite?
The Britt Baker Adam Cole thing. That's really all. I'm ever since that, my mind's been lost ever since then. Everything y'all heard since we talked about that has been just babble and whatnot. I just been filling the seat, because all I'm thinking about is when I start sending them DMs, I just need one reply. I just need one door to open. I also need that Powerball to come through tonight. So if y'all are out there listening, anybody's got some recommendations on the numbers, please let me know, because it's $458 million. I can use a little bit of that.
Could use some of that.
Yeah, if I win $458 million, we're opening a wrestling promotion. How about that? We're gonna get airtime on TBS or TNT, and we're gonna be hot for 2 years, and then we're gonna be trash for the next
our
3.
own WBD angle.
Exactly. Then we're gonna be trash right after that. We're gonna be trash for a few more years and just spend a fortune and be like, I don't know. But we're going to say it's the best thing ever, right? Because, I mean, that's really all it takes.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So my favorite that's happening right now, Jacob Fatu. That's hands down my favorite. You know I'm all in on Jacob Fatu. I was all in on him in the Indies. I was all in on the rumor mill that got started about him coming in, and I'm all in on him, the way that he is being portrayed on TV as the heavy right now for the Bloodline 2.0. I think that man is a future world champion, and I also believe he's the future head of the table.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. You think he's a retiring Roman at this point? Oh, my God. Wow. This sounds like a whole nother topic for a whole nother week.
I think there is potential that he may wind up in that role.
I can see it. I mean, at this point, he's already in that role in the Bloodline 2.0. I mean, he's already and he tries his hardest. You got to get that man credit. He sits out there, he prays. I mean,
I love you.
Right. He's got his little hands folded. He does. He's the one out of all of them. He's the one that puts the what's the thing called?
The Ulafala.
Yeah, he puts that on Solo. It's always him that shows the most respect to Solo, but damn, he done took Solo's spot.
Yeah, he did. And you know what, though? The writers knew that, too, because they kept him apart.
Writing was on the wall. Writing was on the wall.
All right, so that's our topic today with What's Up. Everything that we've talked about today, all the current storylines going on. There's more that we didn't talk about. There was the Wyatt Six, Miz. There's the stuff between Kofi and Xavier Woods. There's all kinds of stuff going on, which is what a great time to be a wrestling fan.
What a great time to be a wrestling fan. That's all that needs to be said.
All right. Reach out on our social media platforms. Drop us a line. Tell us your thoughts. Tell us what's yours. And with that, we bid you adieu.
What do you think about Zilla Fatu and Hikuleo? Oh, cut it.
Today's podcast was produced by SBP. You can find our podcast on all major podcast platforms. Also, connect with us on our social media accounts. Search for The Bookers Alliance on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X.